Hello everyone, this is Bridget, and today we're going to be talking about 5 signs that you have had extraterrestrial contact, which is a major part of Starseed training. Now I'm talking like real extraterrestrial contact in the physical, and it can also be on the astral as well. And so we're going to be going down all the different scenarios, all the different signs that you may have had so that you can validate for yourself if this is true for you. So I encourage you to watch all the way to the end to hear all the different scenarios so that you can go, yes, I have had that and have this validating, because as we validate our spiritual experiences, it makes more happen. When you deny it or avoid it or are super skeptical of it, then those spiritual beings and that access to that higher frequency is closed. So we want to validate it. If it is resonant with you, you get a yes in your body, a confirmation that that is true for you. You don't need to make things up. If it isn't, that's great too, that's fine. And just opening the door to these possibilities is really fun and encouraging. So let's get into it. So the first sign to know if you have had extraterrestrial contact is actually going into your family line. So has any of your other family members had some kind of contact? Now this can be just a UFO sighting. It's like, oh, I just saw a UFO. That is a sign that there's something within your lineage, within your bloodline and DNA that is synchronized and attractive to connecting with extraterrestrials. This can mean that you're an experiencer, which can be also called a detainee or an abductee in context to like Greys and that kind of abduction programs, but also it can be in wonderful connection with benevolent extraterrestrials as well. So right now we're just saying, is there anything out there that is a sign that there is connection for me and my family is one of the keys to know if these kind of experiences are happening for you. So you can ask your family members, your parents, your uncles, your aunts, those kinds of people, if they've seen UFOs, if they've had any experiences, and if they have, usually they're pretty forthcoming about it because it was an interesting experience. It's something fun to talk about. It has stayed with them. In some cases, like with my family who are very religious, they have blocked out the memory, even though they told everyone at the family reunion that it actually happened. They themselves don't remember that. And so that can happen as well, where some people can forget because they want to suppress these memories, because that is a paradigm shifter to acknowledge that extraterrestrials exist. So that is the first way, is to explore your family lines, explore if there's some kind of connection, if they've had experiences before, because then that means it's probably within your DNA and bloodline to also have those kinds of experiences. So that's sign number 1. Sign number 2 is along similar lines, which would be if you've had some kind of missing time. So this can also be maybe within the family, maybe they've had missing time too, where all of a sudden you were on this road trip driving and you legitimately ended up at your destination. You don't really know how you got there, and you missed 5 hours of time. When you were driving, it was light outside. When you got there, it was dark, and you don't know exactly what happened. So there can be a lot of time glitches, which is a really big sign. And this can also go along the lines of sleeping and dreaming, which we're gonna get into in a minute. But if there's any kind of time glitches, time morphs, and also things like deja vu and synchronicities, that you know that something happened, but you can't quite understand it in the linear perspective. Something multidimensional happened. So that is the second sign that some kind of contact with other beings or other dimensions has taken place. The third sign are dreams, and there's a lot here. I can do a whole video on just dreams and how much they can tell you about your interactions with different spiritual beings. Some of them are going to be angels, some of them are not so good beings, some of them are extraterrestrials. So there's a lot of contact happening in dreams because you're more available to it and your astral body is more receptive as it's in that dream space. So some of the ways that you could know that there was extraterrestrial contact would be, one of the key ways, particularly pertaining to abductees, is reoccurring dreams with certain themes. Now this doesn't mean that like just because you had this, it for sure means that you were, quote, abducted and such, but it is a sign, it's an inroads for you to explore deeper. You might want to get a regression, you might want to dive into this in meditation, explore it more, but these are just some of the, ding, there's something there. So some of the signs that are classic for me and other people, experiencers, would be classroom settings that denote, because there's a lot of teaching going on in the spaceships from all different kinds of extraterrestrial groups, sharing with us, reminding us who we are, why we're on Earth, what we're supposed to do here, how not to mess it up, how we can do great things. So there's a lot of teaching and classroom things that go on. There can be obviously different kinds of beings that you are interacting with. Maybe you know that specifically this particular theme continues to happen. There can be strange things the way that you come back from dreams. So as an example, for instance, like my dad would have this reoccurring dream that he would wake up in the shower and was sleepwalking. So sleepwalking can be one of them. Having your pajamas put on backwards, waking up outside and your parents not knowing what was going on. So there's a lot of these dynamics within kind of sleeping, sleepwalking, like what's going on here, some like confusion, but especially when these things are repetitive and they continue to happen, that's when that's when there's something really there. Not only with the dreams, but with certain consciousnesses and certain beings visiting you again and again, then it's something really to know. A one-off isn't as significant as the reoccurring. And so some other signs would be connections with big eyes, right? Owls. There's a lot of different symbols that go on that are actually screen memories overlaying the actual contact experience. Or you might just wake up not remembering, but sign number 4, feeling an upgrade. So one of the things that would be, I think, the most significant of these signs is the tangible shift within your consciousness. Maybe it was what created and sparked your awakening, some kind of upgrade or shift to where you know that some level of consciousness came and visited you and gave you an upgrade. Maybe there were actual light language delivered, maybe some kind of message transference of energy, some kind of sign, maybe certain visuals or image that were overlaid in that kind of experience. This is, I think, the most significant because it's the actual tangible experience that then lives within you, and you can tap back into that vibration, which then can increase contact, as well as just synchronize with this higher resonance of your soul, of what's available for you, so that you can be more on your path and connect in with your own starseed energy. So going back to the dreams just for a second, another key one is that maybe you've dreamed on other planets. I've done this lots of times. I've had reoccurring dreams in this certain landscape with these giant crystals, and it was very visceral and real, this space. And I was over at a neighbor's house. This is the way it goes in Sedona. And it was a few weeks after I had had about 3 of these dreams, and it was a very particular energy, and this planetary scape was immense and beautiful. And I saw a picture in my neighbor's house, who's totally into this stuff, and I thought, that's where I've been dreaming. And I said, where is that? And she said, Pleiades. I was like, yeah, of course. All right, yes. So also we can look at these different kind of landscapes and energy frequencies. Many people have had dreams on other planets, and that is less a contact within this life. It gets very multidimensional. It can be an inroads into a future life, which is what we're talking about with the starseed energy of a certain soul life that you've had, parallel incarnation, where you have probably been the extraterrestrial on that planet and you're remembering that. Or maybe that part of yourself is sending a message to you now to remind you of what you're meant to do here. So that's another great way and sign to remember what you're doing here, and that you have had this kind of contact. And I think that that's what's so important. And actually I really like doing this video because it's important to acknowledge this. And when we acknowledge it, we acknowledge more of ourselves. And I think that's why this is important and significant. So the fifth and final sign that you have had some kind of extraterrestrial contact is if there's that deep feeling within you that you're not from here, as well as the energy of resonating and receiving energy, contact, love, emotional responses from certain constellations in the sky, right? A lot of people have this with Orion or certain stars. They don't even know what it is, and then they find out and it's Sirius or Arcturus, or maybe some that people haven't connected a starseed energy to yet, but there's something there, and there's a deep, deep love for the cosmos. That's one of the ways that I was communicated with when I was younger, was just by the reverence and the deep, deep knowing. That is one of the best ways to receive contact, is actually through that state of transmission, of knowing that there is more than just planet Earth, and that there's more out there in the cosmos, and that you are from that place, and that you are of the stars. And so really receiving that kind of macrocosmic resonance field, I think, is the most significant thing that we can do, and the most significant sign of contact, because it's coming from this higher universal space of consciousness, which is really, really what it's all about. I mean, to get into the specifics of it, was like that being that then did this particular thing and said this particular thing to me, we can get caught up in like the details, especially like it's this spaceship and stuff like that, when really we want to be connecting with extraterrestrials that are from higher densities, that are actually non-physical. That would be the ideal, because then they have this higher transmission and they aren't still kind of stuck in lower levels of density. So getting this higher transmission of that universal love that can just stream down to you from the stars, and you don't necessarily know what sparked them, but it's just this living, breathing essence within you. Those are the pieces that are the most, I think, valuable to continue to connect with, and to continue to nurture within your own being, to again create more extraterrestrial contact with these higher density beings and cosmological energies, which is absolutely wonderful. So one of the ways, I've got tons of videos on this, but one of the ways is that you can go out and work with the stars, and so I'll share that video. And I have lots of other videos, if you're new to the idea of star seeds, that you can go and watch as well. I've got a whole slew of this stuff, so be sure to go check out all of those videos. And this has been really fun. I've really enjoyed doing this video, and so I hope that you've enjoyed it. Please comment below and let me know what signs have been most helpful for you from this video, or other signs that you may have received, that you've had some kind of contact or some kind of starseed awakening. I would love to hear them. Please be sure to click the like button and the subscribe button, and for sure that bell button. It's all about that bell button, so that you for sure get notified every time I do new videos. And I really appreciate and love you, and wish you a absolutely wonderful, glorious day, and just very happy to be here with you right now on this planet.